Collared lizards are prairie reptiles named for the black rings around their neck. They are aggressive, especially when warmed by the sun on the rocky outcrops where they live. This lizard has places to go, territory to protect, a home range several thousand feet across. Pretty big ground to cover for such a small guy. At day's end, the sun spreads an apricot glow over sky and grass. The moon rises and the prairie seems to sleep, but this is the hour when nocturnal hunters are on the prowl. A harvest mouse climbs a stalk in search of food. An owl hovers over the tall grass, scouting for prey with his yellow night eyes. A rattlesnake is on the lookout for a late-night snack. Eat or be eaten is the rule of the prairie, and sensing this, the harvest mouse retreats to shelter. The grasses are jeweled with dew in the early morning light. Spiderwebs glow silver, backlit by the rising sun, signaling the start of a new day. The tallgrass prairie is the home to hundreds of wildflowers. Each week from April through September, a dozen new beauties come into bloom. Most of them are perennials, returning year after year. They establish deep roots which preserve the plants from destruction by fire and fend off invading species. Unlike grasses, which are wind-pollinated, the prairie flowers depend on a host of insects for reproduction. This relationship between flowers and their pollinators has developed over time and is crucial to the health of the prairie. For millennia, humans have used many flowers for food, dyes, and healing. One of the best known is echinacea, which is derived from purple cone flowers and used to fight infection. Steve Packard is an ecologist who devotes his life to the restoration of prairies, like this one, a nature conservancy tract on the shores of Lake Michigan.
There are so many bright and pretty flowers, it'd be easy to forget that this is basically a grassland. This is the original ecosystem. This is biodiversity. This is as good as it gets. Probably 20 or 30 species of wildflower right here. This is the purple prairie clover. The roots of this one probably go down 15 feet into the ground. Same thing with this one. This is rosinweed, and it has sort of a gum-like substance that comes out of it. And the Indian kids made gum out of this and berries. This is the nodding wild onion here, and the Indian name for this one was Chicagoa. And there are so many of these here that the region was named after it. This is stiff aster. You're looking at a system that has been building up its richness for thousands of years. There are certain plants that just depend on an ancient original ecosystem, and this is where you find them, the only place you find them. When I look around this prairie, I'm looking at a whole ecosystem that is thriving because of a recent fire. This prairie burned this spring, and it wouldn't look this rich if it had. A prairie that has recently burned will grow twice as tall, have twice as many flowers, set twice as much seed compared to a prairie that hasn't burned recently. This is an ecosystem that thrives on fire.
Thousands of years ago, man started to use fire as a tool in the grasslands. Native Americans called fire the red buffalo. They used its powers for war, defense, hunting, and cultivating food. Indian fires extended the reach of prairie boundaries, cleared brush and trees, and provided an ideal grazing ground for bison, elk, and deer. Ancient indigenous cultures, such as the Kiowa, Mandan, and Osage, were our first land stewards and were crucial to the creation and maintenance of the prairies.